Hey guys, it is me, Laura, and I'm going to show you what we are doing for my first grader for the 2017-2018 school year. This is all the curriculum that we have picked out. To start with, for Bible, we have been using Apologia, and I think for my first grader it was really okay, it was working well, but I do Bible together with my first grader and my 4-year-old, my pre-K. And it was just too much for my pre-K. So I wanted to do something they could do together, and I found What's in the Bible with Buck Denver. I'm not usually a huge fan of using a lot of screen time in homeschool, and I usually prefer more real life stuff for younger kids like my 4-year-old, but this series is so good. So I went to jellytelly.com, and you can do, it's kind of like a Netflix for kids, but it's all Christian programming for kids, and it's $4.99 a month. So we're just gonna watch on there. It's much cheaper than buying all the DVDs. And so each Monday we will watch the What's in the Bible with Buck Denver, and then on Tuesday we'll do Felts or reenacting some of the stories that they talked about, and then on Wednesdays, I found a website that made flashcards that are supposed to go, each DVD has 2 episodes on it, so they had flashcards for each one. And so what I'm doing is I took the information on those flashcards and I've put them on little game cards. So with the question and the answer, and I found also online, I just did a Google search for a generic Bible trivia game board that you can print off, and I haven't printed it yet. I need to do that, and I'm going to laminate it, and every week we will play with the cards from that week, and we can add the new cards as well, so that it kind of reviews, but at the same time makes it a little fun. And so we will come up with our own rules and have fun with that. And then on Thursdays we will read some of the Bible stories that were in that week's episode, either in Bible storybooks or from the Bible itself. I'll let the kids kind of pick where they want to look at it from. And then also we have iTunes Family, and so they have a CD that goes with this that talks about some of the songs are about some of the things that they're learning, so we'll listen to that. And their website has some pictures that you can download for free for kids to color, and also we'll do some songs to memorize, things like books of the Bible and just different facts like that. So that's what we're doing for Bible. This year with Samuel, I am doing, he loves marking things off on the calendar, so I have his own calendar, and we write things that are coming up and events, and he can just mark them off and kind of keep track of them and talk about what day it is. And then he has his daily notebook, and this is really going to be more like a journal, kind of to keep track of how he's progressing throughout the school year. And also I wanted to take this as an opportunity to talk about things that aren't really in his other curriculums, things I probably should have done last year, but like 911, his phone number, his address, what his food allergies are. It's really important that he knows that well. My name, my husband's name, his full name, birthday, and also we can work on things that he is struggling with a little bit in here too, or things that he's doing really well at. But this is just kind of, he might have writing prompts or drawing prompts. Sorry, the cat's trying to get at my paper and claw it up. He loves paper. Okay, so like for example, he might do this where it talks about his name, how old he is, what grade he's in, is he a girl or a boy, and whatnot. And for now, I'm going to get him to where he writes the date, but for right now I'm just going to have him find the right day of the week and trace it and cut it out, and then he'll put that on top of his page. So he has that. And then where I'm getting stuff to use for the notebook is I went on teacherspayteachers.com. They've got all sorts of interactive notebook stuff, and so I printed off some that's in here that's all about me, and this will just kind of use throughout the year, you know, my favorite places, just to kind of do that journal prompt in more of a fun, interactive way, because you can cut it out and stuff. He's trying to steal my paper. But then I have this is an ebook, Critical and Creative Thinking for first grade, and it's got all sorts of fun activities, and they're in themes. And so I can look for themes that go with, like, I'm going to be printing some summer stuff off because we're in the summer right now, and I can just print things off that go with where we're at, and pick things that are appropriate to his ability level. And then I also have this from Evan Moore, which is Draw Then Write, and I've had this for a while, but it's got 3 different levels for drawing and writing, and it's got what all you can draw here. And again, I can just look at that and pick something based on themes and what we're learning or what he's liking or things like that that just kind of go with where he's at. Let me go find the cat something to play with so that he doesn't claw up all our paper here. Hold on a second. This is what we picked for math. We have Math Lessons for a Living Education. We're on level 2 in here, and Samuel really loves this. He loves the stories, and I'm never a teetotaler when it comes to schooling really at all. We don't do every single activity in here, we do most of them. And then I also am supplementing this with Mathematical Reasoning B. This is where he's at this year, is level 2 in this book. And level B here, I try to keep this a little bit easier, a little bit behind where he is there, because this is a little harder for him, but it is really helpful. And this book covers things that one doesn't cover, and this covers things that one doesn't cover, and they just work really well as a supplement. So we probably won't get through this whole book, but we might. And then our next box is our fun box. This is just encouragement. Give him a chance to do some fun work while I'm working with Timothy a little bit right now. And here he's got these little cut and paste activities that both of my boys really love. And then to kind of fill that up as well, I have this Never Bored kid book. I got it from Timberdoodle. It's an Evan Moore book, and it just has all kinds of fun little games and activities in here, and he's really excited about this. So this is just kind of a fun book. And then also this is the same book, number 2. This one, I will use some of this for fun stuff and some of it for supplement for other subjects. It's a little bit more academic in nature, I think, but it's still really fun for him. So we'll use that. And then I also have some Wipe Clean books. I'll actually use these for both boys. They both really, really like them. And so I'll be using those. And I have some, and like sticker books. We've got lots of sticker books, so I'll be using sticker books in there. They both love that. And then I just have some stuff that I've kind of gathered from the years that I've kept up with. And then I like this Dot to Dot book. He has a lot of fun with these. So these are just kind of fun things that I can throw in there. And then for English, which is the next one, we are using all the stuff in there. The Logic of English program. He is, I would say, almost done with Logic of English A. So we'll be finishing this up, and then we'll be moving on to B. But this is great because it includes pretty much everything from, you've got your phonics, you've got your handwriting, you've got your reading, you've got your spelling, your comprehension, your vocabulary, just all of that is in here. Now, one thing, I am going to be working on a little bit of extra handwriting, and I'll be doing that. I have some, let's see, let me pull them out here. I have a few books like this that are Wipe Clean books that I'll probably be using some for handwriting, and I'll probably be doing some in his daily notebook as well, just because it's something that is a little bit harder for him, and I don't feel like there's really enough of it for him to really, there's not quite enough practice in here of handwriting. So I'll be adding that, but otherwise this is a really great program and we love it, and I have a video about this that I will link for you that goes into more detail. So we will be doing that. And then his next bin here is Logic. Now I do have some Logic games, like We have a laser maze, like a laser maze game, and I've got Camelot Junior. They're like puzzle logic thinking games, and so those we'll use in there. And then also from Timberdoodle, I got this mini Luke, and I got these workbooks. The controller comes with just this sample workbook, and then I have Teddy and Mousy. This is in order of difficulty. Visual discrimination games, brain jogging, more playing with colors and shapes, more brain jogging, visual perception games, and playing with colors and shapes. And they have a whole nother set too that I'll get once we've worked through these. But just to give you an idea of how this works, it's really cool and fun, and the boys love it. So I'm just gonna pick a random page here. Okay. So to set this up, what you do is you open it up like this so that the clear squares align with the squares there. And this is numbered so that you know where to put each of the tiles. And if you look up here, each tile has a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so and so forth. So here what you're doing is you're looking at this circle, which is a green rod, a blue rod, and a red rod, and you're trying to find the same pattern here. So it would be there. So since it's number 1, I would take the number 1 and cover it up. And so then you're going to do this with all of them. I'm going to do really quickly here. Okay, so then I've got all my tiles in place. So then what I do is I close this up and flip it over. And if this pattern matches this pattern, then I know I did it right. And so they've got all sorts of different games and puzzles, and it's really fun and just kind of makes you think, and the kids really, really like these a lot. So that is some of that. And like I said, in Logic 2, I also have some games, and I can find some printables. There's Logic printables and stuff too that I can put in there. Right now for history, I am still kind of making our own curriculum. I used the Beautiful Feet American History program as kind of a base, and I'm building off of that. And I will put a link to a video about that up here. And so I'm just kind of creating it as we go. As soon as we finish this book, we will be done with Pilgrims. And then for science, we are using the Real Science for Kids building blocks. Now building blocks is fairly new, and this is actually the K book. I grabbed the wrong books out. Okay, this is book 1. That's what I meant to grab. But what they did is they've taken all of the other books that they had, and they've broken them down so that instead of doing a bunch of chemistry at once, you do a few chapters of chemistry, and then a little bit of biology, and then a little bit of physics, then a little bit of geology, and then a little bit of astronomy. And you go through that cycle every year, but each year you're building a little bit more. And I love this program because I really feel like it sets the foundation for science. And so the way that this will work, I have little lesson plans that I've written up, and I will link below. It's a Google Doc, it's a working doc because I'm using it. So I can't give you editable rights, but you can look at it and get some ideas. But what we do is we will read a lesson each day, and sometimes I will have videos that we can watch that go with it, and we'll do an experiment each day. There's a laboratory notebook, and there's an experiment that goes with each lesson. And I love these guys because this is just a little weird thing with me. There are very few science programs that really discuss the scientific method of how you do experiments and the scientific thinking and all of these experiments. Most science programs have science activities where you are doing a specific activity to demonstrate a scientific property or a scientific theory or a scientific law or whatever. But in this case, you are doing experiments that you come up with the hypothesis, you test it, you see what happens, and it's not trying to prove something. You're just really asking questions the way scientists do. And it's really, really good. So I'm super excited about this. We won't be writing in here. I have a separate notebook that we have been using to keep up with the science experiments. Like here's one that we did. When I paint, I use chemistry. And so we talked about things that we do in a day and if it uses chemistry or not. And we talked about what happens when you mix the different colors, and it was really, really fun. And here Samuel's keeping up with how tall his plants are. And so we just write everything in here and keep track of it all. And I just kind of use this as a guide, and there's a teacher's guide too. But I love this because it is a really solid foundation, and then I can also add in other books that we have based on scientific stuff. We can watch little videos, we can go outside and observe what we're learning about, and I love this. And then for geography, I am creating a program using this as a base. This book and this book. So we read about the different areas in here, just a couple pages for each one. And this book goes through, you learn about like real children from different parts of the world and what their life is like. So what we'll do is we'll read about a couple of the kids, and we'll watch videos of these places online on YouTube, and we will listen to music from the area, and we'll color flags from the area, and sometimes we'll make food from that area. But this is a really good way to kind of introduce geography and different cultures and what the world is like. I love this book. It's so, so good. It's called Children Just Like Me, and it's put out by DK. And again, I will link our lesson plans below that we use. Again, it's a Google Doc. I'm actively editing it and working on it because this is what we're using real time in homeschool. But you're welcome to look at it and get any ideas that you would like. And then the last thing is art. And so I'm just doing this drawing with children book, going through with the kids. We are breaking it down. One lesson is just way too long, so we're kind of breaking it down and going through more lessons. But she teaches kids how to look at the world, how to see things, and how to draw. And I've done a lot of reading on this, and I've been really impressed. And I wanted to start here because whether you're painting or a lot of what you're doing, when you look at artists, there has to be this basic ability to draw, this basic ability to see things and know how to translate that to the page. And I feel like this book is really, really good at that. And I'm excited to do it with our kids. So that is pretty much it for Samuel's first grade year. And we keep everything organized. It's not really the workbox system in its truest sense, but this helps keep us organized to know what we're doing throughout the day. Let me know if you have any questions. I will link to reviews, more in-depth reviews of some of this stuff below and at the end of the video. And let me know if there's anything else that you want to see or if you have any questions. I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.